Good evening and welcome to 100 Nights of Taps, Gettysburg, on this rather warm evening of June the 23rd. My name is Wendy Allen and I'm the president of the Lincoln Fellowship of Pennsylvania. The 100 Nights of Taps, Gettysburg is sponsored by the Lincoln Fellowship of Pennsylvania and the Gettysburg National Military Park in partnership with Taps for Veterans, the Gettysburg Licensed Battlefield Guides, and the Eisenhower National Historic Site. I'm honored to introduce one of our most favorite buglers of the season, Priscilla King from York, Pennsylvania. All of our buglers come here on their own without paying their own expenses. We obviously could not have this program without them, so please welcome Priscilla. Also, every night we have the most incredible team of volunteers here. Again, every single night, Monday through Monday, all summer long. I must thank them for being here and helping out. First, John Tuskin, who is our historian archivist for the Lincoln Fellowship. He is a presenter and a great advisor on many things. Scott Burkett is a presenter and on our board of directors at the Lincoln Fellowship. Scott, thank you. And taking our great photos that we post to Facebook every night is Sandy Tuskin. Sandy the Great, thank you so much. This evening we walked through this beautiful national cemetery, guided by pathways that brought us here to Soldiers National Monument. While walking along the pathways, you were surrounded by the graves of fallen heroes and their enduring stories of sacrifice, sorrow, as well as extraordinary bravery. And those same pathways converge here to a place where in 1863, President Abraham Lincoln delivered the Gettysburg Address, one of the greatest speeches of all time. Gettysburg National Cemetery's pathways are America's enduring pathways that guide us to our history. And for our enduring pathway, and that's what we call our educational feature for tonight's program, will be about Oliver Wilcox Norton. And John's going to help me out here with a picture of Mr. Norton. Who was Oliver Wilcox Norton? Well, his talents are evidenced each evening during 100 Nights of Taps. On July 1862, the 3rd Union Army Brigade, then under the command of General Daniel Butterfield, was camped by the James River on the grounds of the Berkeley Plantation following the 7 days battles. It was here that Butterfield, assisted by Norton, created the 24 notes known as taps. Oliver Wilcox Norton was the first bugler to sound the call that evening. For almost 161 years, the call of taps has sounded to signal the military personnel go to sleep, and more importantly, as a tribute to all of those who have faithfully served our nation in uniform. Oliver Wilcox Norton, or O.W. to his friends and family, was born in New York on December 17, 1839. Norton was among the first to enter the Union Army when the Civil War broke out. He enlisted with Company K and became a bugler for the 83rd Pennsylvania Volunteer Infantry Regiment. During the Battle of Gettysburg, O.W. was the brigadier bugler, serving under the command of Colonel Strong Vincent. On July 2nd at Little Round Top, Vincent's brigade answered the call for troops when General Governor K. Warren saw that the hill was unoccupied and open to being captured by the enemy. Norton had a good view of the fighting on Little Round Top on that day and was distressed when Vincent was mortally wounded. Norton would eventually write a book entitled The Attack and Defense of Little Round, one of the best eyewitness accounts of what happened. Norton's name will always be associated with the bugle call of taps. He wrote, "There is something singularly beautiful and appropriate in the music of this wonderful call. Its strains are melancholy, yet full of rest and peace. Its echoes linger in the heart long after its tones have ceased to vibrate in the air. It is immortal." Thank you, John. Once again, I'm honored to welcome Priscilla King, our bugler. She is better known as PC and lives in York, and performs as a soloist with a variety of groups as a freelance trumpeter in the Central PA region. She is a member of the Allegro Orchestra in Lancaster, the York Symphony, the Lancaster British Band Brass Band. She has also been a longtime member of Gettysburg's own Buzz Jones Big Band, having played many times for swing dances, benefits, and shows at the college and at the Majestic Theater. She maintains an active teaching studio, teaching private lessons at her own studio, Pick Music, at Perfect Fifth in Mechanicsburg, and via Zoom. She is a member of Taps for Veterans and has, for the last years, been sounding taps for various organizations for special ceremonies, including Memorial Day and Veterans Day and other dedications. She has become friends with the Lebanon Cemetery in North York, where an amazing group of volunteers is actively working on uncovering the rich history of York. And this is also her 8th year here at 100 Nights of Taps, and we're so proud to have her as part of our rich crew of users, so thank you again. We meet here in Gettysburg National Cemetery so that we shall never forget our brave American veterans. We remain steadfast in our dedication to the great unfinished work which those who fought here, as well as in many foreign lands, so nobly advanced. And we honor, and we honor that they gave the last full measure of devotion, so that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and the government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. In keeping with the tradition we started about 5 years ago, we are honoring the Second Lieutenant Edmund Dascom, who fought here with the New Hampshire Volunteers, who's buried here in the cemetery. We've placed his image on our commemorative coin that we present to our jewelers and presenters. We honor him every single night here. He comes to represent all of the soldiers buried here in the National Cemetery. Edmund Dascom was born on November 11, 1837, here in Gettysburg on July 2nd, 1863. Lieutenant Edmund Dascom and the 2nd New Hampshire were overrun by Confederate forces at the Joseph Sherfy Peach Orchard. There he was shot and wounded. His regiment retreated, leaving him alone among the dead. On July 5th, 3 days after his wounding, the survivors of the 2nd New Hampshire returned to the Peach Orchard. He was taken to field hospital but died 8 days later. Reportedly, his last words were, "I enjoy the sweet consciousness of always having striven to do my duty." His comrades first buried him near a field hospital. Later that autumn, he was reinterred here to grave 11, section A, in the New Hampshire plot. We placed a small flag on his grave right down through here. If you would like to stop on your way out and pay your respects, that's perfectly fine. He was an incredible soldier. I'd like to present Priscilla with the point tonight. Thank you. And get the gold. We sound taps every night here at 7 p.m. And in closing, I would love to invite all active service people, active service, National Guard, Guardsmen, thank you, veterans. I had a mental block. Excuse me. Please come and stand with Priscilla so we can thank you for your service. Thank you, John. your service. Thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you so much.